Ndewo, Keduki Mere, Aduma. Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks as always for joining me as I continue to learn the Igbo language of Southeast Nigeria, my ancestral tongue. Of course, I appreciate everybody that's followed me all this time. Again, it's been over a year. Many people have stayed with me. And we've had a small gathering, a small intimate group of people learning this language along with me. Of course, as we know, the Igbo tribe is one of the main tribes that was brought to Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and a couple more Caribbean islands. But those were definitely the main places. And of course, being to the mainland, North America, being the state of Virginia, where that side of my family originated. So most African Americans do have at least some Igbo ancestry. So it's good for us to learn this tongue and to reignite with our people across the Atlantic. Of course, I'm practicing the concept that comes out of Ghana called Sankofa, which means going back to your roots. Of course, not here for a history lesson, but just 10 more words that we're going to go through on the subtopic of shapes. And shapes comes from the word OD. Again, OD is shapes. And we'll do our 10 here. Of course, it's me just because you can't see me on the video. I'm just going to show you my picture. And again, that was me coming back from my second journey, 2019, to the great city of Uyo in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. All right, almost to where we need to be. Let me scroll to the appropriate space. The first one is square, which we know is square is one of the basic shapes in geometry, and we learn when we're very young kids. Now for my Igbo 101 book, again, you practice like contractions in U.S. English. You drop a letter, and in this one, you drop the A that you see. So square, the pronunciation according to my book is Skwue-Ray for square. Again, Skwue-Ray for square. The only difference in pronunciation from English into Igbo that you'll find is that E character, which you pronounce as an A. So that's why you hear me saying Skwue-Ray for square. And again, I'm using the pronunciations in English of the letters, but of course in Igbo it has its own alphabet, and the pronunciations are different than in English. We're just going to keep it simple and just use that English pronunciation of the letters to take off some of the complication. All right, star. Looks like a long word, but it's not. KP is actually one letter in Igbo. And there's a special way of pronouncing it, which I really cannot pronounce, you know, with English being my first tongue. So most native Igbo speaking people say just pronounce it as a P. So that's what I'm going to do. So to say star would be Pah-Pahn-Doe for star. Pah-Pahn-Doe for star. So just 3 syllables. Pah-Pahn-Doe is star. So we'll try one more time and practice it with me. Makes it easier because sometimes your mind thinks something, but your mouth won't respond. So you got to make them coordinate. So I do that through practicing. Star again is Pah-Pahn-Doe for star. Okay, trapezoid. That's a shape with only one pair of parallel lines. So trapezoid does have some special pronunciations that'll be different than English. Again, the E's make an A sound. That O with a dot underneath. Any letter that we talk about, we call those diacritics that have a dot underneath, gives a different pronunciation. So the O diacritic letter is an all sound like auto. The I's with the dot underneath gives a real high I sound like you're saying ink, ink. All right, so in order to say trapezoid, you would say Trapezoid. Trapezoid is trapezoid. I'll say it slow. Trapezoid. Trapezoid. All right, one more time before we move on to the next one. Trapezoid. Trapezoid. All right, triangle. Your special pronunciation will be the regular I. The one without the dot is an E sound. And the U with the dot underneath is an O sound. So that last letter is a diacritic. So to say triangle, you would say that is Tree-Ahn-Goe-Loe, triangle. Tree-Ahn-Goe-Loe, triangle. Again, Tree-Ahn-Goe-Loe, triangle. Okay, vortex. Again, you got the special character, O diacritic, which means all, like auto, and E, which makes an A sound. So it's Vau-Taze for vortex. Vau-Taze for vortex. Again, Vau-Taze, vortex. All right, some verbs in relation to shapes. Just part of my book gives us some shapes, some verbs that you could use with shapes, like adding one shape to another, for instance, if you're building something. So most of the time, when you have a verb, it's going to start with an I, or it's going to start with the I with the dot underneath it, which is the I diacritic. So that's when you know you're talking about a verb. So we're not talking about just the word add, we're saying to add, which makes it a verb. So to say to add, literally you would say Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, to add. Again, Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, to add. And that's how I learn languages, even when I learned Koine Greek and a little bit of Spanish 20 years ago, basically. You break words down little by little and then you understand them. I've learned with a lot of languages in the world that they're actually more precise than English. And of course, Igbo is no exception. Sometimes it's actually more precise than English. Greek, Koine Greek for studying the Bible is way more specific than English. And that's one reason why I love studying the Bible in Greek, because it definitely brings out the real meaning that God had intended in the word. All right, let's move on and get back to it. So to say to add, you would say Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, to add. So remember that I with the dot underneath makes that real sharp I sound, like you're saying the word ink. Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae. And one thing to look out for, again, this is where us that are first language English speakers have trouble with, is the character GB. Remember, GB also is one letter in Igbo, and it's very difficult for us to say that if English is your first language. So most, again, native speaking Igbo people give us a break on this one, and they usually just say as if you're saying B. So that's why I'm saying Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, to add. So those that are native speakers will definitely hear my accent immediately, because I don't pronounce GB like a native person would say. So again, it's Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, to add. All right, just a few more to change. So again, you see that I diacritic character right there, and you see the GB, so you know there's going to be some special pronunciation. And of course, you also know it's a verb because of that I diacritic letter. So this one, to change something, means Ea-Bahn-Way. Again, Ea-Bahn-Way, to change. And again, the E makes an A sound. So again, Ea-Bahn-Way, to change. Again, it's a verb. All right, to check. Again, you only have one special character. That's the I diacritic. So it would be Ean-Yoe-Chah, to check. Ean-Yoe-Chah, to check. Say it one more time slowly. Ean-Yoe-Chah, to check. All right, to color is going to be a little bit more complex to pronounce, because you do have 3 words, but you don't pronounce all of the letters. For instance, if you're going to say something really properly, you would say Ea-Boe-Chea-Hay. And people probably would understand exactly what you're saying, but again, the common person wouldn't pronounce all of these letters. In other words, every A that you see here, there's 2 of them, you would take out of the pronunciation. So what you really would be saying is Ea-Boe-Chea-Hay, to color. Again, Ea-Boe-Chea-Hay, to color would be the common way of saying it, instead of saying Ea-Bah-O-Chea-Hay, which basically means the same thing. So those words literally mean, Eba means to inject, Ocha is the word for color, and Ihe is an item. So basically you just said, to inject color into an item, which in English means to color. So again, to say it the common way, Ea-Boe-Chea-Hay, to color. All right, last one before we end today, that'll be our 10, to divide something. Now, this one's a little bit easier because you just pronounce everything the way that you see it without eliminating any characters in the pronunciation. So to divide would be Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae. So again, your special character is the I with the dot underneath, the diacritic, giving that sharp I sound, like ink, ink, ink. And then your E is going to be an A sound. So that's why you hear me saying again, Ea-Bah-Kwuen-Yae, to divide. So thanks for joining. As I like to do, I like to say farewell in the Igbo way. Of course, Imela means thank you. And good night means Kachifo. Kachifo, have a good night. Bye-bye.